My name is Simone Reyes, and I'm an animal rights activist. In this third part of the activist series, I would like to talk to you about bearing witness. Now, I'd heard the phrase before, we all have, but being an activist, means you want to activate change, you want to liberate, you want to simply do, not watch. And so bearing witness always felt to me like I wasn't doing enough, like it wasn't enough. And over the weekend, the group that I'm on the board of, Social Compassion and Legislation, along with Jane Unchained, Jane Velez Mitchell, and Katie Cleary's group, World Animal News, we held a fundraiser to raise funds for the animals. And we honored a number of people. One was Anita, I'm going to mispronounce her name, and I just spent all day with her. Kranick? It's probably wrong. Krajnc. She works with Toronto Pig Save, and she was in town for a number of vigils as well as our event. And this morning at Farmer John's and at another location where they slaughter chickens, we did just that. We bore witness. And she explained the definition basically as when you see someone suffering, you don't turn away. You get as close as you can and you try to help. Now, when you have a slaughterhouse truck full of animals that you don't own, and by the way, animals are considered property, so they are the property of the people that are going to be killing them. When you are faced with that situation, you can't just take all of the animals. It's not really possible. What you can do are a number of things. You can negotiate, which was done this morning. Anita spoke to the manager of the chicken slaughterhouse. And we never want to give money, into abusing animals. But she asked him, after giving out many vegan sandwiches to the workers and to him, she said, out of the goodness of your heart, will you give us a chicken? Will you allow us to liberate just one? And at first he did ask for money, but then he thought about it and he said, okay. And so in that way we were bearing witness, but we were doing even more. We were actually able to save a chicken from being killed. But I've, as an activist, had to bear witness to atrocities that broke me, such as when I went to Taiji and I saw the dolphins there being driven out of their homes and brutally murdered, and their babies being thrown out to sea, just unable to survive and washed up a few days later. Also that people can buy tickets to places like SeaWorld and other amusement parks. I had to bear witness. A lot of people, when I was there, it got a lot of press, the dolphin drives that year. Ever since the Cove, actually, it's been getting a lot of press. And people would say, cut the nets. Well, the second that I arrived in Japan with Sea Shepherd, they knew I was coming, and they had a police escort from the airport with us the entire time that I was there. So there was no way, surrounded by police officers in Japan, that I could cut the nets. It's not possible. But being an activist, it was so frustrating to have to stand there and watch these beautiful, magnificent, free dolphins being dragged into the cove and murdered for profit. And to poison, actually, the food there. The mercury content is off the charts. But now, after hearing and speaking to Anita, we had a lovely lunch today. I understand that bearing witness is so much more than just standing by and watching. Bearing witness is giving energy, it's giving intention, it's holding space, it's providing dignity and respect. And I have to believe that these animals know when they are surrounded by people that care and want to stop the atrocities. So, we did that. We were there to bear witness. And because of that, we can tell their stories. We can tell their stories in a much greater way than if we said, oh, I hear that they're killing pigs in California and Los Angeles, and I read about it online. Spread the vegan message any way that you can. But it's different to say, I saw this animal. I looked in her eyes. I felt her desperation. I saw her bruised body. I saw, I felt, I experienced some of her pain. And I was there to bear witness, to tell her story or his story. That holds a lot more weight when you try to explain to people why they need to go vegan, why they can't be a part of any other social justice movement that fights for equality and leave out the animals. Nobody is free while others are oppressed. So I encourage you, if you're in Los Angeles, to look up LA Animal Save. If you're in Toronto, or even if you're not, Toronto Pig Save, Toronto Chicken Save, and do that. Go. You don't have to even be part of a group. I'm sure there are many places that are abusing animals in your neighborhoods. Bear witness, tell their stories. Instagram it, Facebook, all of it. Tweet it. Tell people what you saw. Today there was an amazing group of activists there. Vegan Club was there, and Tony Canal, and Mark Ching of Animal Hope and Wellness, and of course everybody from Toronto Pig Save, and Amy Jean Davis and Sean Monson, who did Earthlings. I mean, you know, Katie Cleary from World Animal News. It goes on and on and on. The people that were there to stand with these animals as they went to slaughter and send them our love and our vow and our promise that we were going to take their stories and spread it throughout the world so that people understand that the only way to live peacefully is to live vegan. So please bear witness. It is important, and it is creating change. These animals, I've always said it, as they are raised in torture and brutally slaughtered, they are activists, because their bodies are examples of how horrendous this world can be and how far we have to go to change it, and how much we care, how much animal rights activists care to make that change. So that is my activist tip. Bear witness and tell their stories until every cage is empty and every tank is drained. Thank you.
We are here at Farmer John's with Los Angeles Animal Save.
That means, like, when someone is suffering, don't look the other way, but come close and try to help. That's the definition of bearing witness. And
my name's Mark Ching from the Animal Hope and Wellness Foundation. I'm a big believer in the SAVE movement.
And I made the connection with dairying and what happens to these mommy cows and how we take their babies away from them. And if someone took my baby away from me, I would do everything in my power to stop them. And so I no longer wanted to contribute to that suffering anymore. And that's why I'm vegan.
And the animal rights community is the most progressive and evolved social justice movement of our time. Thank you for being here and bearing witness.
And we're just grateful for everyone coming out early this morning.
Show up every morning and come here and say, I'm going to go slaughter.
Appreciate that on behalf of Los Angeles City.